This is
with the robot. This is a robot podcast with the crying baby.
With the crying baby. All right, no, let's restart this. Hi, welcome to We'd Rather Be Reading. I am Lia.
And I'm Jerrica with a million kids. And all of them are currently at the moment crying.
Good, but we look awesome because we got new merchy hoods.
Hoodies.
New hoodies, which is exciting. And we should probably make this available for purchase at some point. But yay! But not yet. We'll see. I'm not organized enough to have a shop yet. Anyways. We're going to have some things to talk about today because we read the most awful of all books and I gave it 1 star.
Honestly,
you gave it 4 stars. I was like, really? Really?
Okay,
really?
Because I read the other book of this book and this one was a nicer version. But anyways, so the book of the week, what is the actual title
of this? It's called
one?
The Beauty and the Brit, which terrible fucking title. It's by Poppy St. James. And when I read about Poppy St. James, she's a full-time fun, flirty and sweet romance writer, which I'm not sure. She's a full-time novelist for more than 10 years and she turned her passion for reading into literary career and has sold millions of copies of her novels published under various pen names worldwide in more than 12 languages.
And this one that we read has very few reviews and very few
ratings. Like, yeah, it came out in 2021, this one, 23rd of August. So I was like, new, great. It was narrated by Erin Mallon, which is now your new favorite fucking narrator.
I only want to read Erin Mallon books from now on.
The male narrator was Shane...
West?
East? Shane something or other Shane East. And halfway through this book I think I messaged you going, why am I hating Sterling, the boy's name? First off, I hate him because his name is fucking Sterling, but that's besides the point. Why am I hating him so much? And then you told me it's because he's Harding from After. And then I realized I have been traumatized by After and I can never listen to Shane East anymore. And then it turns out that Shane East has like narrated all of the books.
He has narrated it's probably close to 1,000 books. And this guy reads definitely more than we do. And it is impressive. And I love his voice. Love his narration. He is a fantastic romance narrator.
Oh my god, I just clicked on his name and I know what we're reading next.
Yeah.
We're going to read Heart of Fury, a dark vampire romance.
Done. Easy peasy.
Or Heart of Thorns, a dark vampire romance.
It sounds right up my alley.
Or maybe Monster, or Unbidden Hunger, or Rory in a Kilt.
What? My best friend's husband's name is Rory, and he's Scottish. You need to send me that immediately.
We're reading Rory in a Kilt next. Look at this. Look at this cover.
Oh my god, you have to send that to me. She's going to absolutely die.
His name is Rory McTaggart.
Oh my god. Her husband's name is Rory McDonald. It's so close.
Alright, so I'm sending this your way. It's happening. This is our next book.
Okay, Melissa, we're in the next book. We're reading about your husband.
Yeah, we're going to read about Rory in a Kilt. If anyone was wondering... This could change, by the way. I'm not making any promises. I might start listening to this book and go, no, sorry, cannot do it. But yeah, we're reading Rory in a Kilt. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about Beauty and the Brit. And Beauty and the Brit was like, jaded divorce lawyer finds out, has to marry to get $50 million inheritance. And Cameron... sassy publicist gets the job of finding him a match. I was like, done. I'm on board. This sounds amazing.
I love it.
Love it. Then I actually started listening to this book and I was like, hate all of these people. They are so fucking dumb. They say he's jaded. He's a playboy. He will never marry. But then he's all like, I want love and romance. And honestly, I'm not... it's your thing, the whole, they need to talk to each other, conversation is everything, communication is key, let's all talk too much. And I'm more like, don't really care about this, speak with your feelings and whatever, don't like talking about shit. Makes me feel uncomfortable. I want to keep it all bottled up and then explode you for no good reason whatsoever, and you're going to be blindsided because you have no idea where the fuck this is coming from. This is me.
Very different relationships with us.
So, you know, whatever. This, but even I was annoyed at the lack of communication in this book because it is so much. It is literally, the whole book is him thinking, I'm falling for her, I want to marry her, she's the one, blah, blah, blah. And her thinking, I'm falling for him, he's perfect, I wish he would choose me. And then to each other, they're like, I'm going to set you up on dates with other people. And he's like, yes, that's great, thank you. And I'm like,
but he hires her.
This is not,
he hires her.
He did not hire her, his uncle hired her.
There's a lot of issues with continuity in this book. Okay, so his uncle hired her. But nevertheless, she's hired by the family in order to find him a wife. They fall in love in the meantime, and the big fight in the end of it is that she thinks he's sleeping with his ex, but
she's also pissed off at one point because he consolidates her debt.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big thing. So, regardless.
But honestly, he's a divorcer. That's not his job.
Basically, what happens in this book is Sterling St. James, British boy, moved to the States when he was 16, has been living there for 20 years at this point, still kept his British accents with no American influence whatsoever. His mother has early onset dementia, which is only making itself shown in the fact that she thinks that the Indiana Jones movie is coming out in the cinema now and not before. No other symptoms whatsoever. He finds out through his uncle and the media that his mother's grandfather has died and has decided to give him an inheritance of $50 million if he is married within 6 months.
Yeah.
So he now has to find a wife, and the only reason he wants to find a wife, because he had decided, because he's a divorce lawyer, that he would never get married, is so that he can afford a better assisted living house for his mother. Because even though he's a well-paid divorce lawyer, he is still poor, but he's rich enough that he can get reservations at the best restaurants without any fuss.
And
he's
hire
rich enough
a PR company to find him a wife.
Yeah, but he's too poor to pay for a better place for his mother. So stupid meets stupid. But his best...
On top of that is there's an inheritance. Why doesn't the fucking family give some money to his mom for better living care? Like, this is her family before it's his family. Like, he's the last in the generation.
It is stupid. So, his best friend is Noah. And Noah, together with his wife, Olivia, has this company where they're co-CEOs.
They merged. So, he has one company and she has one company.
No, they were named co-CEOs by someone. And they're also married and they have a baby on the way. And in this company, Cameron is hired and she's a publicist or public relations expert. And she gets given the task of finding a wife for Sterling. And she's met Sterling before. They had a little bit of a flirty time at the best friend's wedding. So she's best friend with Olivia. And Sterling's best friend with Noah. And Noah and Olivia are the co-CEO married couple with a baby on the way. And Sterling, when he met Cameron the first time, he thought she was way cute, he thought she was all this, but then he realized she was after a relationship and he's not into that, so he just did not pursue this any further. So now they're gonna do this thing, and she gets to hire an assistant. It's this girl Anna, who's also a really good friend of hers, and they're gonna find a wife for Sterling. And I have to say, Cameron tells us on several occasions that she is ever so good at her job, but she shows us on several occasions that she's absolutely fucking terrible at her job.
Yeah.
Like, so bad. So ever so bad. So for this finding Sterling a wife, they seem to be taking in applications, or like she says, recruiting a wife, which I found to be a really weird word for finding a wife for someone, recruiting a wife. It feels like you're hiring them for a job.
Yeah, and I think that that's what it's meant to be also, because Then they're going to write like this really big prenup, which basically gets him out of the thing as soon as he gets the inheritance. But I only know this from the other book and not from this book. So
they don't say that at all. So she gets all of these applications because she has a crush on Sterling, she drops most of the ones that are actually qualified and, good candidates in the trash. And she only sends him on dates with the ones that he will never, ever, ever like properly. And then she's also planning this speed dating event where he will meet all of these qualified candidates and have like 10-minute dates with them to see if he clicks with anyone. And before this event, she ends up meeting up with him for dinners at several occasions. She kisses him on several occasions. And the night before the event, she sleeps with him.
Yeah.
And he's basically fallen in love with her. And he's just acting along with this finding a wife thing to be able to stay close to her so that he can then woo her and make her his wife. But at this event, and this pissed me off so much, the speed dating event, because first off, she has all of these applicants and she sends him on these dates with girls before this speed dating event.
Yeah.
But then at the speed dating event, they keep saying that they rented like this ballroom at the Waldorf Astoria and the queue is around the block. So it's all of these girls. And it looks like a fucking open edition because she's like, we pre-screened all of the candidates. Then they will meet with us and we will interview them quickly and only the good ones will go through. But his ex manages to get through.
And he asks after, how the fuck did she get through? This was your job to screen them.
And it's all of these random people. And I'm like, if you've had a pre-screening process, why is there a queue around the block? It should be like, we pre-screened these people. We've had, 10 more than there's appointment slots so we can maybe weed out the weirdos when we meet them.
Sure.
But there should be like a very select few people that make it to this event if she would have done her job right, which she didn't because it's fucking around the block.
Right.
And I mean, the continuity stuff in this book is
it was a ton. I wrote like a bunch of continuity stuff having to do with England and where were they from, and then the dad that leaves and the mom that's in the house, and the inheritance is coming from where, and how did that money not continuously get passed down the line? Why is the mom in a helm in New York? That's a little bit strange.
It is.
And they visit her, and then they go to his home, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I was reading a couple of other romances at this time. Do you live in a house with a porch?
No, he has a balcony. And he's very proud of this balcony. But his apartment is still, like, he keeps saying the city lights and the buildings are in the distance when they're at his flat. But then he also says they're in the middle of New York City.
I know.
And trust me, if you're in the middle of New York City, nothing's in the fucking distance. It's right fucking here.
And I don't think you get balconies there either.
I mean, some places might have balconies, but whatever.
And if you have a place in the middle of Manhattan with a balcony, let's just throw that out there if that's a possibility. Your mom is not in a bad nursing home.
No, in New Jersey.
In Jersey?
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
But why is your British mom there when she has like rich family with all this money inheritance back in England?
It is weird.
That doesn't make
so
any
weird.
sense.
It makes no sense. And honestly, I think this author has bad taste. I just want to put that out there because there's a lot of blue in this. And who thinks that a blue microfiber couch is a good choice? Can I just say that? She's so like proud of her blue microfiber couch. And I was like, what in the world? Okay. And she says golly gosh, which was my first comment. Who freaking says golly gosh? And then another thing that really got me going here is that clearly this author has never been to a fancy restaurant. She makes all of the food in this book sound disgusting. Yeah. There was no food that they were like, the one he makes with like, the first date where he invites her over, he makes jumbo shrimp. Granted, I'm allergic to shellfish, so, I'm already like, this is not good. With angel hair pasta. And I'm like, really?
But shrimp and angel hair pasta is a dish. But nevertheless, yeah.
Is it like a fancy, whatever? And then they go to this fancy restaurant in the Waldorf Astoria, and she orders steak with a stuffed baked potato. And I'm like, has she been to a fancy restaurant? Because I'm pretty sure they don't serve stuffed baked potato.
Or baked potato.
With their steaks.
That's weird.
And she's like, the dessert cart. And I'm like, yeah, fancy restaurants don't have dessert carts. So, no.
You're going to love this. I actually found this review on Goodreads. Mm-hmm. I'm going to reveal right now that this book is a republished book from the same author under a different pen name. And the original book is called The Fix-Up. And it is by Kendall Ryan.
Is he the fix-up or is she?
The Fix-Up is her fixing him up with a wife.
All right.
And the cover of that book, we're going to talk about the cover of this book also, but the cover of that book is just a guy with abs laying on a bed.
I would have preferred that because the cover of this one is a red dress, a purse, a thong, and but it makes hearts.
It look, so this book that's been republished is the PG version of the original book, and PG in every way when it comes to sex, swear words, and also niceness of the characters. Like, it tamed his character down and her character down a lot, and that's probably why you think she seems so dumb. So there's a review of the original book that still has continuity issues, and there is this one part of the review that I just had to share because it is hilarious and it's so you. Like, you could have wrote this. She says, number 1, enough is enough. I can't go on. When Sterling reveals he pays for his ailing mother's medical care, I thought, that's crazy. Surely the woman has insurance, but I'll overlook it. Okay?
Yeah.
When Sterling claims the monthly cost of dementia medication is 2 times his condo payment, I thought, that's unlikely given the high price of Manhattan real estate, but I'll overlook it. When Cam's boss says she was paid a small fortune to organize Sterling's bride search, I thought, that's greedy considering the bitch is married to Sterling's multimillionaire BFF, and that money could have been spent on Sterling's mother, but whatever, I'll overlook it. And when everyone treats Cam like the help instead of a potential Mrs. Quinn, I thought, that's bullshit, but I'll overlook it. But some things I simply cannot overlook. Exhibit A, when we ordered the same thing, steak cooked medium well. That's what Cam ordered.
And who the fuck orders medium well?
I can overlook a lot of ridiculous shit.
No.
But ruining an expensive cut of beef isn't one of them. So that was her.
So she got stuck at the medium well. I got stuck at the stuffed baked potato. What the fuck?
She got the medium
Honestly, so bad. Anyways, and then at these speed dating events, not only does every freaking eligible girl in the whole city show up for this thing and hope to be married off to Sterling, her assistant Anna, who's also a friend, who's been basically following the fact that Cammy here has been kissing Sterling on several occasions, decides, fuck it, I'm gonna throw my hat in this ring and see if he will marry me. And
bizarre.
Bizarre. And then she shows up to work on the Monday and it's like,
well, wait, can you blame me?
Can you blame me that I did this?
There was a millionaire up for grabs. So I'm going to see if I'm going to be the one for him. It's like, you've been around us hanging out this whole time. You're my goddamn assistant, you dumb bitch. If he was into you, he'd be into you already.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, oh, P.S. And then he was also appalled, like, she threw herself at me. That was weird. It's like, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. And also then, at the end, it turns out here, after the speed dating, that she leaves the event unprofessionally in the middle of the fucking things, buys a bottle of vodka and proceeds to drink it with her drunk friend and making her boyfriend drink it, her husband drink it. And which I was
and he's also like, what time is it in the day? Like 9:50.
It's 12. It's 12. It's before 12.
Okay.
But then they drink that together and she's very drunk and then she turns her phone off for the entire weekend. Like, who the fuck does that? That is psychopaths. I could not turn my phone off.
Actually, there are some yoga people that I know that say pre-warning on social media, I'm going offline for 2 days. You don't just go offline.
Yeah, but
without
turning your phone
people.
off. Like going off social media, fair enough, but turning your phone off, like fuck, shit could happen. What if there's an emergency? What if your mom falls? What if your grandma falls? What if, something happens? Like I don't believe this shit. Like what? You think there's gonna be a carrier bird bringing you important news? Like what the fuck? No, I don't believe it. And then he sees her and she's like, oh yes, I will be with you. And then he's like, I don't even want to marry you. I just want a relationship. Because she's like, oh, I want to date you, but I'm not sure if I'll be ready to marry you. I'd be like, fuck, marry him and figure it out after.
I know, exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
I want to just date you, but you should give up $50 million to be with me. Like, fuck, your pussy's not that great. I'm sorry.
No.
It might be the best he had.
Though.
He keeps saying it's the best he had, but is it $50 million great?
No.
This is like Sarah from Whistler. This is fucking that perilous road to her super 30-something police officer being the super whore, no prostitute, no sex trafficked person in the exclusive house in Vegas. No, your pussy is not worth $50 million. I'm sorry, it's not gilded like in Gleam.
No.
Regardless, I digress. But then they're together and she's like, I won't marry you because, well, I want to be sure about a relationship instead of being sure about a relationship with $50 million. And
he says, I'm going to give it up. Like, I'll give up the inheritance.
And he's like, I'd rather be with you than have $50 million. I'd be like, fuck, I'd take the $50 million, divorce the girl, and then be with you and see if that works out. If you don't want to marry me, I'm going to marry someone else, get the money, and then I'll date you after.
I know.
Whatever.
Like,
I would figure it fucking out. Can we just get the money, please?
Yeah.
Regardless, then right the day before the deadline for him being married, she takes him to Vegas and he's like, oh yeah, we're going to go to Vegas. This will be fun. Has nothing to do with weddings. And then she surprises him with a wedding. And he's like, what if she only wants me for my money? And I'm like, fucking hell, this?
Are we going back?
This is stupid. You're stupid. And then I was like, where's the baby? Because her friend is like super pregnant, super pregnant there when it's like 5 months until they has to get married. Yeah. So where's the baby? It's nowhere to be seen because her and Noah are there drinking. Yeah, where's that baby? Whoa, they lost it somewhere. Who knows? They
put
it
a nanny
down.
back in Manhattan.
And then the worst part of all of this, she still gets the bonus for getting him married.
I missed that part.
No, because she uses her money to pay off her debt, which was her bonus for getting him married. And I'm like, really? So you married him, got the $50 million, and you still got your $10,000 bonus so you can pay off your debt? No. Really?
Can we also rewind to this debt being an ex's debt? It's not even her debt.
No, he steals her credit cards and buys things and then sells them to take the money.
And how did she not, talk about this to Sterling? Like, hey, P.S., you're about to get 50 mil. Why don't you clear my debt instead of...
Or, I don't know, report her ex to the police for stealing her fucking credit card.
You're a lawyer. Let's sue this motherfucker.
Yeah, they're in the States. It's not like you didn't have grounds to stand them. Exactly. I mean, I watched, the Anna,
the inventing
Anna where she racks up her friend's credit card when they're in Morocco, and Amex clears her debt because it was not the money she spent it under false pretenses kind of thing. So clearly credit cards can do this. Yeah, it can happen. It's a dumb. This book is a dumb.
I wrote here at the end when she surprise marries him. I wrote, she insecurely surprise weddings him. Odd choice. Because she's like, I don't know if I should do this. And she's sitting in the car and she's like, hey guys, can you go out? Give us a minute so we can have a talk. And he's like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, should we get married right now? It's like, did you insecurely surprise marry him? It's so bizarre.
There was so much toxic behavior in this too. When they're at this dinner where she orders the stuffed baked potato, which I cannot get over. I really cannot get over it. And the dessert. She goes I will have the dessert because who cares about calorie count when I won't see him again? And I'm like...
Is that a thing? You care about your weight because of a guy you're seeing in the moment? Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then she's like, after she's like, if he cares about my weight and my body, he shouldn't have encouraged me to eat this dessert. And I'm like, this is really weird.
I did not pick up on that.
Really weird. Like, I don't like this. This is like very toxic to me. Like, you should not connect your weight and where you're happy with your weight with your partner. It should be you and you being comfortable with your body. And that's the only thing that should matter. It should not matter what you know. But then you sent me that fucking page of that book where he pinches her tummy flap. And I was like, if anyone did that to me, I'd be like, I don't care if you're a billionaire. You just fucking pinched my tummy and said, I don't care about this. I'd be like, if you did not care about this, you wouldn't fucking touch it. You would pretend it's not fucking there. And keep me like happily thinking you don't notice this shit.
It was also near her C-section scar, and she's like, "I'm not like the girls that you normally date." And he dates like a lot of girls also. And he's like, "Oh, you mean the cellulite on the back of your legs? Oh, you mean this pouch underneath your C-section scar?" And I'm like,
the massive scar on your tummy. Okay, first off, C-section scars are not massive; they're fairly small.
Unless you had emergency C.
Yeah, but
my sister's emergency C is straight across her whole stomach.
Fair enough.
But then my other sister, who had just scheduled C's, very small and wouldn't even be able to see it if you tried.
Yeah. Anyways, madness. This book did not like, would not recommend, gave it 1 star. I will now ban Poppy St. James from my fucking life.
Well, you're gonna have to ban more than Poppy St. James because she is a lot of other people.
I'm gonna have to find out who else she writes as and then ban all of them too. But we're now gonna read Roaring and Kill by Anna Durand. And we used to live on Rue d'Andurand in Montreal. So I feel connected to this book already. It's only 12 hours, so I think we can get through it.
Oh, good God. Roaring to Kill is 12 hours long.
Okay, let's read the synopsis here. Are you ready?
No, I'm not
Rory
ready.
McTaggart is an uptight lawyer by day and a steamy seducer by night.
Into it.
One night in New Orleans changed my life, but is it for better or worse? The instant I see Emery Granger, I need to possess her. A one-night stand should have been the end of it, except I can't quite let her go yet. A marriage of convenience is the best I can offer. For reasons I cannot fathom, Emery agrees to marry me for money, knowing it will last only 1 year. She is the opposite of every woman I've ever known, and the opposite of me, cheerful, free-spirited, and compassionate. Maybe that's why I need to have her, though I will never love her. All I know for certain is that living by my rule might destroy us, both of us. Roaring and Killed is the third and final book. We should maybe start at book 1 here. In the Balachulist trilogy, a brand new series based on the first 3 books in the best-selling Hot Scots series, reborn and retold from the hero's perspective. This was released 19th of October 2021. I'm not sure. Should we start with book 3 or should we go back to the beginning and read Hot Scots and then Balachulish?
I mean, I'm into any romance that doesn't end or doesn't not end, but doesn't have this fade to the next day. These 2 that we just recently read.
I think this one will have all of it written out. By the cover, I believe that all of it will be written out.
I want all of this.
I got the suggestion, we talked about this before we recorded, but I got the suggestion that we should choose our next book by book wheel. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna let you know by book wheel which book is gonna be.
We're gonna physically create a real life wheel.
I'm gonna steal my Twister wheel and I'm gonna put book titles on it and then we're gonna twist and see. We might have to play Twister while we see. Who knows?
I mean, okay, so your first submission is this Scott romance, and mine is only going to get more intense from there. So be prepared.
I know. This Scott romance is read by Shane, so I'm going to hear Harding.
I know, I love him. He's
and
so
then
good.
it's going to be, I'm going to hate him from the get-go because I'm going to mix him up with After, and then I'm going to be like, why am I hating this book?
Do you know, I didn't connect him with After, but I read another book that had her as the narrator, and I was like, oh, I can't deal.
I will throw into the mix here also Playboy Pilot,
Ooh.
Spellbound in a Kilt,
Done.
Managed,
Okay.
or Love Me by Christmas. No, we're not Christmas yet. Hang on, Prince Charming.
Okay, but I chose some that also had
I
Erin
found
Mallon.
the winner.
No,
I
wait.
found the winner. Grumpy Cowboy.
Yes. But this one you're going to like. Seriously, this is one you're going to want to read.
Right.
And look at the cover of it, first of all. It is called Faking It with number 41. And guess what he's number 41 of? Hockey. It's a hockey romance.
We
you
need
love
more
that.
hockey romance. You know I love my hockey
Faking
romance.
It with 41. And guess who is the narrator? Erin Mallon. And only...
All right, it's on my list. Where is it?
It's on Scribe. Faking It with 41.
God, I
it's
can't
Erin
spell.
Mallon and also narrated by Teddy Hamilton, who is not the narrator for the After series. So that is my submission. Also, the cover.
It's also in Storytell. Faking
Done!
It with number 41. It's only 7 hours. We have a winner. We will be reading Faking It with 41.
Ready,
Good.
steady.
Bye, Piper Rain. You heard it first. Get your reading on, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
We'd Rather Be Reading is an original podcast by Jerrica and Lia and The music for The Penguins, written and performed by David Allred from the album The Transition, courtesy of Erased Tapes. Please check him out on Spotify and check us out on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at We'd Rather Be Reading and on Twitter at We'd Rather Read. You can also email us at we'dratherbereadingthepod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.